unless you're drinking like a whole decanter's worth a day, which we're not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
Getting close.
If you pour it out in this purple, don't drink it. Right here on this here barrel.
Commemorates the boardwalk of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Talk about how great this $18 bottle is. I will be, after all this whiskey we drink, I will be very flammable. So.
I'm sorry. 3, 2, 1. Hey there, it's happy hour somewhere, so it's time for Drinkin' Dusties once again.
You could say it's happy hour here. It's always happy hour.
It's getting really near actual happy hour here, unlike when sometimes we drink at 9:30 in the morning to do a video.
Those videos are a little rough. This one's better.
Absolutely.
It's a more respectable time of day. Yeah.
So this is the time of day in the kind of video where we open old bottles of whiskey, usually bourbon, sometimes whiskey, sometimes even weirder stuff, and check them out, give you our impressions of them. We always tell you the truth from our perspective about, whether they are like, blasts from the past or maybe should have been left in the sands of time. I'm Steve Russell.
I'm Charles Cox.
Yep.
And we often have great bottles, but sometimes not so good. I am, however, very excited about today's.
I am very excited about today's too. First, we'll remind you that while you're here, go ahead and reach down right now and mash that subscribe button. You'd be surprised how that easy action would be very helpful to us. And if you want to go
free for you, free.
If you want to go a step further, not free for you, and support us on Patreon, there is a possible award for that. We draw from our Patreon supporters and send them little tasters of the bottles we open right here on this here barrel.
Every bottle we taste, you guys get a shot at having a taste of it as well, because we like sharing them with you.
What kind of bottle might we be messing with today?
Well, today we're definitely having a bourbon.
Yeah.
We're going back. I love me some decanters.
Yeah.
Some good decanters. The reason I love decanter, a lot of whiskey critics do not like decanters, because they can sometimes be leaky. They can, it's tough. I like them because it's a good way to get a bargain. Yeah. In an auction. So
I sometimes think there's still a little stank on them from the era that they were seen as just a way to try to force whiskey out on the market. And I still think today, sometimes they have a little bit of that impression left over on them.
That is true. And some people are afraid that there's lead in the whiskey.
Wimps.
We've tested several whiskeys from decanters, found no trace of lead in them as well. And we've talked to doctors and whiskey scientists, they do exist, about it. And they've said, unless you're drinking like a whole decanter's worth a day, which we're not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
Getting close. But unless you're drinking that much, it's really nothing to worry about.
If you pour it out in this purple, don't drink it. Pour it out in this super cloudy, don't drink it. Otherwise, I think you're fine.
And fun fact, we recently learned in Kentucky when we were at the Willett Distillery, talking to the Colsfiends, Drew and Britt, was that their father, Evan, who recently passed away, he got his start before he ever made whiskey, making decanters, actually like molding them out of clay and painting them by hand. And some of them we actually have, some of our car decanters.
Pretty cool that he could make cool decanters and then turn around and make great whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. He made amazing whiskey. Yeah. So, but today we are going to try a brand that probably a lot of our viewers have never heard of. But if you live in Kentucky, you know it.
Absolutely.
JW Dant.
I'm fired up about this.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a bit about the history of JW Dant. So let me show you from our shelf here. So we have a JW Dant decanter. So this is from 1969.
Yeah.
And this was part of a famous series of decanters that was done this time with a lot of sort of patriotic themes. You often see there's like a rendering of like the signing of the Constitution, or you see George Washington, the Battle of the Alamo. In fact, this bottle, the only time I've ever seen this bottle in existence, this exact one online, it was empty and was labeled as Battle of the Alamo, but the image on the other side is not. This one I have commemorates the boardwalk of Atlantic City, New Jersey.
So funny.
So here's what I think happened. Right. And actually, I should point out, you see the tax strip is torn. When I bought this, it was not.
Yeah,
what happened, when I pulled it out of the box, something for everybody to be careful. You pull it by the top, and I ripped the tax strip with my finger. Didn't really matter for us. We were going to drink it anyway. But if you're ever going to resell something, you tear that tax strip, it's basically worthless.
Before you go sideways, what year, what proof, that kind of thing?
So 1969. Okay. It's 8 years old in the decanter, 4/5 of a quart, 86 proof.
Okay.
JW Dant. So this was you can see here, the Americana collection, great moments in history.
Like the New Jersey boardwalk.
Like Atlantic City, and it's like this weird like hologram effect.
Yeah.
It's a little with old people in like a golf cart.
Wearing a tie.
Yeah.
So I'm having so much fun.
So you might want to ask, It's commemorating the 100th anniversary of the boardwalk in Atlantic City. So
Yeah.
there's a historic reason for them doing this. But
Right.
you might want to ask, why the hell would JW Dant care about Atlantic City and go to the trouble of creating this decanter? And here's what I think is the answer,
Okay.
because these were made in 1969,
Right.
commemorating great moments in American history.
Right.
This was the bourbon glut.
Yeah.
A lot of whiskey was just not getting sold.
Mhm.
These decanters were kind of a Hail Mary, desperately trying to give people reasons to
Mhm.
buy bourbon. These decanters also didn't sell very well.
Okay.
So 69 is when these decanters came out. 1970 is when this one was actually made. The whiskey in it's still 69. So what I think happened was they had a surplus of these decanters, and they were trying to figure out anybody they could sell them to.
Right.
Atlantic City was already doing their commemoration, so they struck a deal. They got these bottles. They took off whatever artwork was on
Right.
it and slapped on this
I think
ridiculous
it was
hologram.
designed to do that. I mean, I think they
Yeah.
all had the, sort of the
Yeah.
American, eagle shield thing on the back, but all these other things are basically stickers.
Absolutely.
So they could have very easily, swapped that stuff out. So do we? Here's the thing, though: was it being just sold in shops on the boardwalk?
That I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
where it was sold. I got it at auction. Like I said, I've
Uh-huh.
literally never seen this exact one
Yeah,
before
me
with
neither.
any liquid in it. It was on Etsy. It was empty with this design on it, and that was like 35
Wow.
bucks for an empty. So I found this at an auction
Yeah.
with other things from storage units
Right.
that I happened to get this one at. But we are today we're not going to try that one yet. We're going to try it in a moment. But we're going to try it together. We often do this, compare the historic version to the current day. In this case, it's a little bit of a ridiculous comparison that I'll get to in a minute. They're definitely not distilled by the same company, so they're effectively completely different products. But I think a lot of our viewers have never had JW
Yeah.
Dant, and we should talk about how great this
Yeah.
$18 bottle is.
Which I forget. Is this one we determined that you can only get in Kentucky, or mostly only get in Kentucky?
I don't know for sure that
Uh-huh.
it's definitely only Kentucky. In fact, sorry, it's definitely not, because
Okay.
I've found out that you can get it in some other states, usually by request, because
Right.
they don't sell a lot of it. You can currently get it in Alabama and Georgia as
Okay.
well, but not many places.
But a lot of times, if you do see the Dant, sometimes you're going to get a lower proof. This is the bottled in bond JW Dant.
Correct.
Right.
So bottled in bond, 100 proof, 4 years old. It's actually Heaven Hill, distilled at their New Bernheim distillery, although bottled at
Right.
the Bardstown facility.
But,
But really, really good juice.
Yeah.
Really good juice.
Yeah, absolutely. We already know that. So
so
I'm telling you, we're going to open it up and do
Yeah,
it.
why don't you open it and
Okay.
pour it while I talk a little bit more about the Dant family, because a
Yep.
lot of people don't know the history. So today, when a lot of people think about whiskey making families, there are a lot of names that pop to mind, right? Like automatically the Russells,
Yep.
the Beams, the
Yep.
Daniels, the Willets, the Shapiras, the Van
Mhm.
Winkles, Stitzel, Weller. Not many people think of Dant, but 100 years ago, if you asked that question, people would have thought of
Yep.
Dant. Dant was a big name. So this really started in 1836 when Joseph Washington Dant made a still from a poplar tree log. Started making whiskey in a log.
He was crafty.
Yeah, exactly. A Dant station in Nelson County, Kentucky. He grew his own grain, kept his own yeast. He made the barrels himself. His whiskey soon began to sell to neighbors. Word spread, and so he had to, he was able to finally buy a copper pot
Mhm.
still. By 1870, he built a proper modern, at least for the time, distillery. All 7 of his sons became involved in the family business. His son
7.
George took over the JW Dant distillery eventually. Several other sons worked with him, but his eldest son, JB Dant, opened his own distillery in 1865 in nearby Gethsemane.
Yep.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I think that is how you pronounce
Close
it.
enough.
Yeah.
Gethsemane,
No, I think that's
Kentucky,
it.
where he made a whiskey that would become called Yellowstone.
Oh, wow.
And another son, JP Dant, very confusing,
Yeah.
distilled at the Pleasure Ridge Park Distillery in Jefferson County. So you had 7 sons all making whiskey for 3 different distilleries
Wow.
at the same time. Fun fact, though, when Joseph Washington Dant died in 1902, his will directed that no whiskey manufactured after his death could carry his name.
Well, that's the end of that.
And
Yeah.
his name should stop being used as a brand.
And they totally obeyed
His
that.
kids clearly didn't listen to it. As we discussed, a will doesn't necessarily mean that they're required to. It's just expressing the will of their dad. They decided to keep going. Of course, Prohibition eventually shut down all these family businesses. Several of their brands were still sold as medicinal whiskey, but the rights were sold to other companies because they couldn't get a medicinal license themselves. So they sold the rights for other people to make whiskey under the names of Yellowstone and JW Dant, not for them. Another fun fact, during Prohibition, Dant actually used the Stitzel warehouses, to store their whiskey, and Stitzel even purchased several of their barrels that they then used to bottle their own medicinal products. So if you're getting Stitzel Weller whiskey from Prohibition, you have a lot of money. But you may not actually be drinking juice distilled by them, because they were taking a lot of people's juice.
Yeah, they took a lot of people's juice during that era.
Not just them, right?
They took a lot of stuff from Dowling.
Yeah,
they took a lot of the Dowling stuff.
Yeah, they were producing their own great stuff, but they were also recognizing other people's stuff and using it. So when Prohibition was repealed in 1933, Dant family returned to distilling. 6 of the 7 sons were still alive by 1936. Most of them joined forces to revive the JW Dant distillery. JB Dant, with his own 6 sons, built the Taylor and Williams Yellowstone distillery in Jefferson County. But by that time, the Depression was really tough, right? It took a lot of money to get a distillery restarted. They had to bring in outside investors. Dant families eventually got phased out. By the end of World War II, both JW Dant and Yellowstone distilleries were sold to larger companies. So JW Dant went to Arm & Hammer, who would then be sold to Shenley in 1952. Yellowstone went to Glenmore. Dant family members kept working at those distilleries for several years, but they slowly aged out too. Shenley eventually closed the distillery in the 60s. But they held on to the label until they were purchased by United Distillers, and as was Glenmore, and then United Distillers sold the JW Dant Yellowstone brands to Heaven Hill in 1993. Heaven Hill kept JW Dant, sold Yellowstone to Luxco. So that's why now you'll see Yellowstone whiskey made by Luxco. This is typical Kentucky, right? The names get passed on, no connection to the original distillers. So an interesting side note, as a result of ownership getting passed around, if you're drinking a historic JW Dant, it's a bit of a detective game to try to figure out who actually distilled it. And the bottles can be drastically different from each other. So, some of them were distilled at Old Bernheim Distillery, but then bottled at Stitzel Weller. Some bottles were distilled by Ancient Age Distillery, which is now Buffalo Trace, but then bottled in Indiana at the Shenley Distillery. JW Dant even had a pre-fire Heaven Hill offering. So today, the whiskey's distilled, we know, at New Bernheim for Heaven Hill, but bottled at their Bardstown facility. This decanter, who knows? There's no DSP on the bottle anyway. I had you check. You can't find DSP, so we'll have to try it and find out. But let's try this one. So the current JW Dant bottled and bond, as we said, 4 years old, 100 proof. As far as I can tell, a mostly Kentucky only bottle, but it's definitely in some other states.
It's much easier to find in Kentucky, I can tell you that.
We got it at Kroger. Oh, it smells so good. So on the nose, there's a lot of sweet nuttiness, it's peanutty, but it's not. It's more like the peanut butter that's in a Reese's cup with a lot of sugar in it, and that brown sugar note is great too. You tasted it already?
I love this.
So let's be clear though. We love it because it's $18.
Right.
It's delicious for $18. You're not going to drink that and think that's a great $100 whiskey, but this is something. If you have access to this bottle, this should just be on your shelf at all times. Because you can sip it, and it's cheap enough to use for cocktails.
Absolutely. But it's got really, to me, strong what I respond to like a straight up caramel note to it. And I respond to that. I just think
you're right, more caramel than brown sugar.
More caramel than brown sugar to me. But it's also just got all the other classic stuff into it. It's got vanilla. It's got little bit of oak, not a whole lot.
And I taste a bit of that char too.
But it's just good, And it's weird because this is Heaven Hill has several bottled in bonds that they do. There's at this same price level you got the JTS Brown. Not slightly above that, you get the Evan Williams bottled in bond. So they're doing several bottled in bonds. I respond to that Heaven Hill flavor profile. I just really like it.
I feel obliged factually to also point out to our viewers that you also had the Heaven Hill bottled in bond, which is now like a $50 bottle or at least a $40 bottle. 6-7 years ago, that was also a $20 bottle. The price on that has been jacked up.
No, I can still get Heaven Hill bottled in bond. No, Evan Williams bottled in bond. Right.
I'm talking about the Heaven Hill bottled in bond. They made that a luxury.
That's a great bottle.
It's a great bottle. It's a really good bottle. Okay, so let's. So this is great.
But I was going to say you can fool people with this bottle.
Mm-hmm. We should talk about the legal battle around Dant.
Absolutely.
So the Dant, as we mentioned, the Dant family stayed in the business for a while. In recent years, the Dant family, who married, like everybody in bourbon, they married the Beams.
Why not?
Beam Dant kids. But Wally Dant and other Dant descendants tried to restart family story, Log Still Distillery, testament to their ancestors' legacy of distilling in a log, when he first made his whiskey, citing the year. They even got the website, jwdant.com, because apparently Heaven Hill hadn't grabbed the website. So there was a big court case over that, understandably.
You gotta like that.
Yeah, Heaven Hill owned the name, wasn't doing much with it, but they bought the whiskey, they bought the name, they bought the brand. So they sued for trademark infringement. The lawsuit
they're still the actual descendants.
Correct.
Of JW Dant.
To tell them now the case was basically like, you can't use the Dant name.
Right.
Like, well, our name is Dant.
Right.
What do we do? Yeah. So it was finally settled and amicably, eventually in 2023. Heaven Hill kept the JW Dant name. They clearly are still making the bottle. They kept and Log Still, who are run by the Dants, has to explicitly say on their website that they are no connection to JW Dant whiskey,
which is weird.
What was really interesting is if you read the court document, the judge in the case actually described Log Still as having deliberate intent to confuse and exploit Heaven Hill's goodwill, and he said it was legally damning. The court said direct evidence of intent, as trial judges regularly instruct juries, is hard to come by. Yet the Log Still marketing plan is about as close as many lawyers will ever come to a smoking gun. So anyway, end of the story. End of that story is Log Still gets to make their whiskey.
Right.
They can't use the JW Dant name. Heaven Hill is still making JW Dant, and you should pick it up. It's good stuff.
Seriously.
Yeah. All right. So that was all great, but I think it's time to
drink that Dusty.
That one right there. So that JW Dant. We are going to open this up. I'm going to open it because it's mine. I brought this in, so I'm to blame if this sucks.
So what year?
69.
69.
Now the bottle it's confusing. Normally you think, oh, the year of the decanter was the year it was bottled and released. This was made and bottled in 69, but then had to be sort of, I don't think it was taken out of the decanter. I think they just put a new sticker on the front for 1970. So this was actually purchased in 1970. And we're gonna try this out.
Big year for decanter, 69.
Yeah,
we had a couple of those, and that's where like the Chessman came out from Old Crow and all that.
Oh, at least that cork is moist.
It's interesting because it's a cork that's surrounding still a part of the lid, so that's interesting.
It's got a bit of a strange aroma, but we'll see. Could be interesting. Why don't you pour it while I talk a little bit about what else was happening in 69 other than these decanters being put out. So, as we know, 1969. I'll start with space news since you love your space news, Steve. Ooh, that's a healthy pour. Thank you, sir.
What's a little glass?
Yeah, it is a little. My wee glass. Apollo 11 fulfilled late President John F. Kennedy's dream by landing on the moon. Before he said he wanted it to happen before the end of the decade. And no, don't put in the comments that it's all a hoax. You guys are idiots.
I watched it live
on the TV set. Where it was filmed?
On the TV set, yeah.
Back on Earth, 1969 was also the year of the Woodstock Music Festival and the Stonewall riots for gay rights.
Yep.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Love Bug topped the Hollywood box office that year, where a movie ticket cost about $1.50. Richard Nixon was sworn in as president.
Yep.
And he said, after a period of confrontation in Vietnam, we are entering an era of negotiation.
Oh, really?
Later in the year, U.S. bombers hit Cambodia in an expansion of the Vietnam War, and the bloody and ultimately pointless 10-day battle at Hamburger Hill took place. Mile High Massacre case.
Right.
Yeah. So clearly he was a little off.
Hopefully this ain't napalm.
No, I hope it's not. In sports news, New York Yankees star Mickey Mantle retired. Pele scored his 1,000th goal.
Mickey Mantle retired in 69.
69, yeah. Center fielder Mickey Mantle. Well, he had to retire early because his knees were destroyed. The first internationally televised Oscars ceremony also had the first tie in a major acting category. Best Actress Award went to both Katharine Hepburn for The Lion in Winter and Barbara Streisand for Funny Girl.
Oh,
That was her
wow.
debut performance, I believe.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why would it tie? That's interesting.
The votes were the same.
I mean, they had literally had the even number of votes.
Yeah, so when they opened
Don't
the
get that.
envelope,
Right.
it's a tie.
According to Price Waterhouse.
Yeah. So the Dade County, Florida Sheriff's Office issued an arrest warrant for Doors lead singer Jim Morrison, who was charged with felony count and 3 misdemeanors for lewd stage antics.
I believe he exposed himself, possibly.
Well, he did not remember because he was very, very drunk.
Right.
But some people said he exposed himself. Other people said he didn't. Some people said he simulated oral sex on his lead guitarist. Which there were a lot of competing accounts based on how socially conservative that person was.
It was a wild night. Let's just say that.
So on the day of Paul and Linda McCartney's wedding, in other music news, British police raided the home of George Harrison and Patty Boyd, finding a truly copious amounts of hashish.
Did they find Eric Clapton?
They did not, but George was reported to have told the officers, "You needn't have turned the whole bloody place upside down. All you had to do was ask me, and I would have shown you where I keep everything." So ultimately, because they admitted to it, they were only fined 250 pounds each, and they even had their confiscated hash pipe returned to them.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know why they bothered to raid them in the first
seriously.
place. All right. In sad music news, the murder at the Altamont Festival in December, where Hell's Angel biker stabs an 18-year-old concertgoer to death.
Yeah.
So that was the Rolling Stones concert.
And then Mick decries that, and then supposedly the Hell's Angels put a bounty on his head for like the next 30 years.
And I didn't realize these happened the same year. What a horrible year for the Rolling Stones. Brian Jones died.
Yep.
That same year in a drowning accident. And Senator Ted Kennedy drove a car off a bridge at Chappaquiddick. So in even worse news, Charles Manson's followers killed 5 people in Beverly Hills, including director Roman Polanski's pregnant wife, actress Sharon Tate.
Helter Skelter.
Yeah, exactly. In happier news, the first ATM ever opened for business in the U.S. On TV, the Brady Bunch debuted, much happier, and Sesame Street.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I watched the very first Sesame Street episode.
How was that possible?
I was playing, because I'm that old.
Because you were 4 years old.
Because I was playing in the backyard with my friends, and my mom, who had like received information to her, women's social group or whatever, which is how they pushed information out that day. Was knew that this was going to happen, and called me and my friends in from the backyard. So the only time in my life that my mom said, "Come in and watch TV."
I think that was also the only time in anyone's life that somebody rushed in for a premiere on PBS. But Sesame Street, big deal. We all grew up with that great show.
I watched the very first one. Yeah.
So Phenomena. Let's stop talking and talk about this.
So we did the bottle and bond. This proof is what on this one?
This is 86.
86 proof, very common to that era.
Yeah, 4/5 of a quart. But so what's interesting, 8 years old the bottle. So whiskey
is interesting.
Or they didn't go for young stuff because they had to get rid of stuff. So the smell is interesting, but that's really good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I want to slosh it around a bit more. I think there's more to be had there.
So there's more going on than there is in the 4-year bottled and bond JW Dant we had.
But for me, this is really interesting actually. But I was thinking I was going to get that same caramel note or whatever, but of course this is a completely different.
It's completely different
product.
Who do we think made it?
This is one of the more confusing ones to try to figure out. We've had some confusing ones.
This is an appeal to you guys watching. Do some research. Help us out.
Right.
It made my brain hurt too much trying to track down because any given time period, it's distilled one place, it's bottled somewhere else. It got shipped around during changes of ownership, but that's excellent. Everything is just so well balanced, right? It's sweet, but not too sweet. It's a little bit spicy, but not too spicy. There's oak, but not too much of the tannic bitterness at the end.
I would not say this is super complex, but what you're saying is all the stuff that is there works together very well. Very well.
Very well. Slightly astringent on the front end, which is unusual. Normally the astringency comes in only at the end.
Yeah. It's not
overpowering, but I think it
it's not punch on the tongue astringent.
No. I'm digging that a lot.
I'm getting a little citrus. on the front. Like a little, like
but
a little,
more orange than lemon.
Yeah, more orange than lemon. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Sweeter.
It's about,
it's not bitter.
Yeah.
It's,
like, you know, when I get when I just have a daily drinker bourbon, I will sometimes throw a couple of miniature orange slices into it. And at the end, that's kind of what this tastes like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I like it.
I like it a lot. I like and it's got a nice lingering tingle. Although I'm not getting many like noticeable spice notes. It's there. There's a little bit of cinnamon, but there's a nice little tingle that you get after.
I don't find this is like changing over my palate a lot from first to finish. But I honestly never think that. I don't feel like a bourbon has to do that for me.
No. Sometimes it's just like, am I going to enjoy drinking this? With this one, absolutely yes. Absolutely,
I like that.
Yes.
I really like that a lot.
So you may see this series. I don't think you'll see the Atlantic City label on it, but I've seen a lot of like Norman Rockwell painting ones.
The Norman Rockwell.
That's all this series too.
That's a series of them.
Yeah. So you get the American Eagle on the backside, and then on the front, you'll have some sort of art. There's an American Legion series that they did. So those are all the same decanter, and most of them, I believe, they might have filled some of them with other whiskeys, but most of them, I think, are JW Dant. Definitely recommend picking it up. That's a great one.
I think they also sometimes like changed out these side panels.
Yeah,
sometimes
that's what I'm saying, because sometimes it was probably not. It could have been another whiskey. I mean, obviously, Beam was sort of the champ of decanters back then.
This bottle reminds me of like a Disaronno.
Yeah, kind of. Or I was thinking, or an urn.
Right.
So see, when I die, I will be, after all this whiskey we drink, I will be very flammable. So I'm hereby saying, burn me put my ashes in that decanter.
Done. No problem.
Now it's on camera.
No problem.
But I really dug this.
No, that was great. That was good stuff.
Yeah. And this one too.
Yeah.
This one too. $18.
They are very different from each other.
Yeah. So this one was more than $18. This one I got for $90.
Right.
But from 1969, that's a good price.
69 JW Dant decanter.
Yeah.
That's a good price.
But again, I didn't get it at a liquor auction. Right. I got it at an online estate sale where it's somebody who's just trying to sell off a bunch of stuff.
Have you seen these go? What have you seen them go for? Other places? Have you noticed what they might go for?
200 thereabouts. Yeah. I mean, again, decanters bring the price down.
Right.
But you have to be careful if you're having it shipped. Like these things can leak a lot in the tops. So if you can get it where you can buy local pickup somewhere rather than having to have it shipped, you're going to be much better off. That's what I did. I bought it at a place where I could actually drive to it and pick it up rather than having to have it shipped in the mail because it can leak. It can leak. But
this is another one of those ones that's just honestly just it's so we've established that it's good. It's not going to gross you out as long as the bottle hasn't gone south. But it's just fun to have something like this. You pull it out and it's just an instant conversation starter.
What the hell? Why do you have old people? A hologram of old
who came out to have a good time on the boardwalk wearing a short sleeve button shirt and a tie.
But there's a dude driving it back there. It's like a rickshaw golf cart that looks like it's trying to look futuristic, like Tomorrowland at Epcot.
That's hilarious.
This is all very strange.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. I wish we could meet those people who are there, long gone, sadly. The old people who were in that hologram. But, I live in Jersey. I've been to that boardwalk. And I've never seen this vehicle before.
I wish they had them. That'd be great.
That's cool.
But anyway,
all right, that was good.
All right. So again, thanks for taking this weird little trip with us. Always interesting to delve into the sideways history of some of these bottles and to find out whether they meet expectations. This was totally different than I thought it was going to be, and yet I'm a happy boy right now.
I'd say this exceeded my expectations. So this is great. So if you enjoyed this, please click subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing. It's free. Support us on Patreon. We will send you a sample, maybe of this very bottle. Every bottle we try, we put it in every Dusty goes in a little sample bottle to send out to our fans on Patreon. So
till next time, keep it dusty and cheers.
Skull.